5. Good morning, everybody. Happy, what day is today? Wednesday? It's hump day? Hump day? This is the morning show. Spencer, Steve, JC with you on this fine, I guess it's Wednesday. I don't know, it's going to be an interesting day. Supposedly, allegedly, we're going to have some tariff announcements, I hear. Don't know what. Does anyone know what? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out what's on JC's mind. We'll find out what's on Steve's mind. And we'll find out what's on your mind. Tell us what's on your mind, chat. We got a lot going on. We got Mary today. She's in the chat. We got Kenny. We got Brian Lund. A lot going on the morning show. If we're nice, maybe JC will share a couple of his charts from his conference call last night. If you missed it and you're a member of AC Premium, you got the recording. If you missed it and you're not a member, you couldn't have seen it yet. So join AC Premium. I'll drop the link in the chat. But let's bring the guys on and let's see what they are watching today.
All right, good morning, y'all.
Hello.
Got that conference call hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad though.
How'd you do?
I'm just like a little bit thirsty, a little dehydrated, and just tired. It takes a lot out of me yelling at people for an hour.
How many minutes? How many minutes and how many slides?
I think it went like an hour 5. Spencer, is that right?
It was about an hour. It was
about an hour, and it was 120.
120, yeah. Because you're about 2x. Your slide to minutes ratio is about 2x.
Oh, it's a good way to look at it. I hadn't thought of it quite like that, but that's pretty accurate. It's a very astute observation there, Mr. Strazza.
I've been paying attention
right.
for a long time.
Yeah, 2-to-1. So I'm averaging 2 charts a minute.
I've seen you go 4-to-1 when you've needed to, but yeah, you're about 2-to-1.
Have I ever gone more than 200 charts? I don't think so.
Dude, you did like 5-to-1 at Stocktoberfest. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Oh, but that's because these rap bastards only give me 25 minutes, and we know that's not going to fly.
Hall of Fame.
So I'm going to get through my charts no matter how many minutes you give me.
Oh, so good. Spencer, you should have seen it.
Dude, Lindsay had to walk on stage and pull me off with
Dude, he came and grabbed the mic from JC.
Yeah, dude, I've turned it off. I'm like, one more. He's like, no more.
I've been the person that has to walk on stage. Like, all right, thank you very much. Thank you.
But imagine Howard being the one to do it.
I forgot what Howard was telling me. Lindsay was like weeks later, a month later, he's like, oh, how come you haven't shown this to me? I was like, I was going to show it to you, and you pulled me off stage at the goddamn conference.
Oh, it's great. That was fun. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, guys, are you feeling liberated?
I don't know.
Someone explain to me, because what is this?
I can't.
What is being liberated? Liberation Day?
Crazy, right?
That's what today is, allegedly.
Supposedly. Is that like a Juneteenth?
Dude, this is literally like
the same thing or no?
This is like out of Brave New World. They would come up with these happy names.
Wow. Steve with the literary references this morning.
I don't know Brave New World. Is that a Disney movie?
It's a good one. You would like it. You would like it.
It's a dystopian future book from the 80s, I think.
Dystopian situations. It's like 1984. Same word.
Reading, bro? You reading that shit?
I used to read a lot.
Yeah? And now you just want to somehow just get worse at golf instead.
Oh, it's from the 30s. My bad, not from the 80s. Anyway.
Oh yeah, he's
old book.
All right, he's the one.
Shall we? Can we just do this? Enough.
Yeah, all right.
1984. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Dow futures down 330 points this morning. That represents about 0.75%. So just below 42,000. That 42 is a big one. We are currently below that. S&P 500 futures down a full percent. That's 55 points above 5,600. So both the Dow and the S&P at critical levels. The NASDAQ 100 has now closed below 500 for the QQQ 4 consecutive weeks. By far the worst one. down another 240 points this morning. That's 1.25% to the downside for the NASDAQ 100 futures. 30-year bond futures up again, about 0.25%, pushing 119. Crude oil down 0.5%, just under 71. Copper up 0.2% at 506. Gold all-time highs up 0.5%, 31.60. Silver up another 0.5%, 34.5. With the VIX moving this morning up at 23.5. Over in funny money land, we've got Bitcoin down 400 points this morning, just under 85,000. We've got Ethereum down 2.25%, leading the way to the downside. 1860, 2100 is the big level there, nowhere near it. Then we got Solana 125 down 1% today, and that puts the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 2.68 trillion. 2.68 trillion. How do we feel about that?
You know, JC, you said something really interesting that you've been saying a lot.
I do.
Gold.
What was it this time that was so interesting that I said?
You said gold, and then after it, you said all-time highs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't say that for many things, but gold just no problem. Day in and day out, new record high. Is there anything else doing that right now?
Copper.
Nope. That's a new one. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, metals. Yeah.
But that's it. Commodities.
So that's what stands out to you the most?
Mm-hmm. They keep working. Silver's got to go. I mean, silver, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, silver's been making serious moves, but that 35.5 level is a big one.
This thing's just so ready to pop. Silver, I think, what a runway it has to get back to all-time highs. Unlike gold, it's got a ways to go.
Yeah, so silver would need to rally not a full, 40% to get to new all-time highs.
What is it, 50?
Yeah, just under 50.
No, 15.
All right. What, Strazza, did you get a chance to see last night's call yet?
No. We were writing until like 8 o'clock last night.
Can you throw up slide 2 there, please, Mr. Spencer Israel?
There's a good answer in the chat for our question. Liberation Day means liberation from the tariffs from other countries. That sounds nice. I think that's what the administration's hoping for. It's like the market. Got to see it.
Yeah, I think that's for journalists and people that are just not trying to make money in the market.
Are they gonna they should do a game with it, right? Where you come up and it's okay, Germany, and then they open a box and it's 15% for Germany, and then okay, United Kingdom, and
it's actually pretty funny. It's actually a pretty good idea.
It's your base to do the UK one.
No, it's kind of like the decision. LeBron James is going to take his talents to South Beach,
Don't remind me.
I was thinking Deal or No Deal.
Great day. It was a great day.
Yeah, Deal or No Deal. That's the vibe I had.
Very few people were happy about that whole situation. I was one of the happiest.
Well, dude, it's because of the way he did it. He didn't have to come to Greenwich, Connecticut, and have everybody convinced that he was going to announce the Knicks to say that he was was not coming to New York.
All right. Okay. Dude, guys,
why would he go to New York? Such a disastrous organization. That was
15 years ago. I think we can move on now.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I still have not moved on.
I have never forgiven him.
All right. Is this chart an argument for direct indexing? Is that what this is?
No. This chart is just here to make us laugh. So, which we like to do around here. We like to enjoy ourselves. We like to have fun. This comes from our good friend, Mr. Michael Batnick. Shout out Michael Batnick, the irrelevant investor.
This has got to be Chart Kid.
Well, I got it from Batnick's blog, but you're probably not wrong. This is probably Chart Kid.
Great chart.
Nevertheless, showing the Mag 7, which are those 7 big mega cap growth stocks in America, and relative to the other 493. And then, of course, humans are a funny bunch, right? You have grown adults here, real grown adults, just bitching that their mega cap growth stocks can't keep up with everything else, just complaining and bitching, and right, you see it. And I remember not too long ago, they were bitching that the other 493 couldn't keep up with the 7. Remember,
it's true. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
They're bitching some more.
You can't win.
Grown adults just like to complain.
This is true. This is very true.
What do you think about this, Straz? I know you've got opinions.
Is it good or bad or doesn't matter?
I mean, it's good for me because I get a laugh out of it. And, this is a selfish endeavor. So if I'm laughing, I'm winning. It's kind of how I look at it. I think it's hilarious. Like, remember, they were just bitching. Oh, my God, it's only 7 stocks, JC, and the market breadth and da-da-da. And now it's like, oh, my God, my 7 stocks can't keep up with literally everything else.
Actually,
oh my
JC, this is the point. The point that they were making is it's 7 stocks. And if those 7 stocks were to not play ball, then we're all in trouble. And that's what this chart is showing.
Well,
right?
We were in trouble because the 7 stocks were doing so well. Now we're in trouble because the 7 stocks are not doing so well. I think people just want to look for trouble.
It's 2 sides of the same coin, right? Like it's the same argument. It's just, right? So the concentration, that's the point, is the concentration.
Is it the same argument?
Yeah, it's the same like concern. Right? 7 stocks go up. What happens when they go down? Well,
stop acting like you don't get hurt when the biggest stocks in the world go down. Because if you're buying the market slowly,
how do I get hurt?
On a monthly basis, you're in these names. You're in these names in a big way.
I own them.
So you can't want them to go down. That doesn't help anybody.
I've said it again. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The best thing that can happen to me, Steve Strazza, and Spencer Israel is the S&P 500 going down 90%. That would be the best thing ever.
You're fucking wrong. You sound insane. That's crazy.
All right. Well, then I must be insane. I've done the math. It's not crazy.
That would be.
How old are you, Strazza? How old are you?
That's the worst. I love you. It's the worst thing you've ever said to me.
All right. How old are you? 37? 36? How old are you?
Doesn't matter.
How old's your liver? A little older?
Nobody wants.
What about Spencer?
Nobody wants a 90% drawdown.
How about Spencer?
90% would be that would be scary, man. Let's be honest.
Scary for who? I really don't give a shit.
You're a liar. It'd be terrible.
Why would I lie? Why? I don't understand. Why? Like, what benefit do I have to come out here and lie to people? Like, why would I lie?
Imagine a world where stocks are in a 90% drawdown. I wouldn't want to go
going
outside.
shopping. That would be like buying stocks in the 1930s and retiring in the late 50s. That would be in the early 60s. That would be fantastic. What's wrong with that?
Dude, I was sweating bullets during COVID. That lasted a month and a half.
And Strazza sweats bullets all day, every day. So I can only imagine. He's a sweater.
I'll bet I sweat more than you, Spencer.
And moving on.
I don't understand the problem. Okay, I mean, I understand it could be a problem for other people, but why should I care about that? So can we here's the most bullish chart that I've got. Throw up slide 3.
Okay.
This is the most bullish chart, I think.
1 second.
Strazza doesn't like this chart at all.
Okay. Oh God.
Every time I bring it up, he's just like, who looks at that?
What is this again?
That's such a weird index.
Remind me, what is this? NASDAQ composite?
The NASDAQ composite index.
Yeah, what is this?
Strazza says that nobody looks at.
Explain this. I've never heard of it.
So the NASDAQ is an exchange. This
is
headquartered in Times Square, New York City. You can go and see the NASDAQ, and you can watch shows being filmed on basic cable, standing next to Elmo, who hasn't showered in a month, and sweaty, creepy Superman and stuff like that. And you could watch people who don't trade do TV shows about trading and stuff like that. You could do all those things at the NASDAQ. So anyway, there are no shares that are traded at the NASDAQ. It's really just like a glorified TV studio for bad content. And the New York Stock Exchange has an exchange where they trade stocks there, you see.
Okay, moving on. Anyway,
they get all the stocks on the exchange, on this electronic exchange, and they create a composite of all of those stocks. And then they call it the NASDAQ composite. And that's what this is here. So when you look at the high there from 2021, right, and then the low in late 22, early 23, we had that relief rally back to those former cycle highs, and ultimately exceeded it and extended to that 161.8% extension of that entire bear market, which is a perfectly consistent place for stocks and prices to consolidate those gains. And in this particular case, they've done just that. So the reason that I say this could potentially be the most bullish chart that I presented last night is that ultimately, if the NASDAQ composite were to break out above 20,000, that would probably be one of the most constructive developments for U.S. equities that I can think of. And that's why I think this is so important. Tell me, of any of those things that I said, which part is incorrect?
Break out above what level would be super constructive?
20.
Dude, we're so far away from that.
Okay. First of all, this isn't about tomorrow. Right, we just had our monthly and quarterly candlestick strategy session last night. This is not about tomorrow or this afternoon.
And when's it about?
Liberace thing is going on today.
I have to make decisions today.
I have a question.
I have to make decisions today. 20,000 is a long way away.
Are there ETFs that track these in the exchange indexes, the Nasdaq and the NYSE, or no?
Huh?
Are there ETFs?
There are no ETFs that do that that I know of. No.
Thank you.
There might be a New York Stock Exchange composite ETF that's not liquid and that nobody's ever heard of. There might be, but I doubt this one.
Okay. It would be a fee nightmare. Too much.
Would it?
There's too many stocks. There's too many stocks.
Is that the reason? That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. You might be
thousands of stocks. There's thousands of stocks. It's a nightmare. Nobody wants to do it.
What about the Russell 3000?
Not a bad. That's not a bad point.
Because Strazza makes a good point. Strazza makes a good point, but what about the Russell 3000? Or the Wilshire 5000, which has nowhere near 5,000 stocks, for the record. It has like 30.
I don't think you have an ETF for that.
The Wilshire 5000, there used to be WLSH.
Russell 3000. Russell 3000 is still a lot less than the NYSE and Nasdaq would be.
No, it wouldn't. The Russell 3000 has 3,000 names. The New York Stock Exchange is about 2,200.
The expense ratio on the IWV. The fee on the IWV is like 10 times the fee of the S&P of the IVV or whatever. So
there you go.
Hold on, there's no WLSH anymore?
I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just a fee nightmare.
Wow. Am I like making this up? There used to be a Wilshire 5000, right?
Yeah, but who wants that? Didn't there used to be a value line?
No. I'm not surprised that it doesn't exist anymore, just for the record. I'm surprised it existed in the first place.
Wasn't there like a value line too? Or something weird like that?
No, there still is.
No,
Wilshire 5000 ETF.
You got the EQAL is another one. That's got 1,000.
How many stocks do you think are in the Wilshire 5000 today?
You got big levels in these equal weight indexes, JC.
Are we under 3,000? We might be under 3,000.
Wikipedia says 30. That was as of a year ago, 3,400.
That's probably about right. 3,400. That's probably about right. Isn't that hilarious?
Hey, if you look at these equal weight indexes, QQEW, which is the NASDAQ 100 equal weight, and now even EQAL is the Invesco Russell 1000 equal weight. They're right at those prior cycle highs. This level's got to hold, right?
Can we? I just want to talk about continuing with this theme of grown adults complaining. Can we throw up slide 4 here? I want to reiterate this. I talked about it last night, and like even while I was saying it, I'm like, is this like really like real life? Like this is real life, guys. And I think it's really important for everybody to pay attention, ourselves included. So the geniuses over at The Economist magazine, I really love these guys because they're not just journalists. They're journalists parading as economists. So you get double whammy with these guys, right? So you want to fade economists, you want to fade journalists. These are journalists pretending to be economists. So it's like literally perfect. So after the United States outperformed developed and emerging markets for 15 years or something ridiculous, then they come out with that magazine cover telling us that the United States is the envy of the world. If you want to zoom in on that cover next there, Spencer, the United States being the envy of the world. You got your Benjamins, right? And then a wad of hundreds is, as the kids say, shooting into the air like a rocket, the envy of the world, right? So that was last quarter, right? So this is Q4 of 2024. And then if you go on to the next one, you can see what happened in the following quarter immediately after that magazine cover. And as it turns out, the United States is the opposite of the envy of the world. The United States is actually the worst place in the world. China up 17% in Q1, Latin America up 14%, Europe up almost 14%, Africa up 13%. Like literally the whole world's up double digits. Historic quarter. Unbelievable. Everybody's making money. S&P down 4.5%, technology down 11%, discretionary down 11%. Most of the U.S. sectors were all up or flat, pretty much all of them. There were only 2 sectors in America that were down, discretionary and technology. And when you go to Chile, Chile doesn't have mega cap growth. They dig holes in the ground and look for rocks, right? So it's a completely different thing. So first quarter was a scenario where you came into the quarter where the economists, where the journalists parading around as economists are telling everybody that the U.S. is the envy of the world. As it turns out, in the following quarter, it was the exact opposite. Everything working except for the United States growth stock. So I just think it's great. And, just a lesson for all of us to sort of pay attention to what the types of people that we want to be fading are saying and doing so that we can fade those kinds of people on a consistent basis and make more money. I think it's a good lesson.
Todd was on yesterday. I don't know if you heard, but he was making the point that for like the first time in a long time, I think the first time this cycle, U.S. tech stocks swinging to a net outflow position this year. So they've been piling into these things for a decade. If that changes, it's a lot of money to go elsewhere. For now, it was gold, treasuries.
I was going to say, we know.
And Europe.
We know where it's going. It's going in Europe and gold, right? That's where it's going.
Treasury funds, too. I think rates are coming down and people are simply buying bonds for the same reason why other defensive assets are working. Or maybe the Trump and the whatever, they're driving rates lower. It's part of some master plan. Maybe that's it.
Is Brazil and Chile and Latin America, are they making new 6-month highs because they're a safe haven asset?
Yo, I'm so into the real right now.
Oh, woo, Todd, tell me more. Boy, do I like it when Steve Strazza talks EM Forex. Tell me more.
A little valet, how you doing? A little PBR. It's only double-digit yields out here in Brazil, people. And then you look
at Strazza whipping out the EM Forex. Excuse me.
We're talking about, the money's got to go somewhere when it comes out of the U.S.
Wow. What happened to JC, bro? Nobody owns the real. Nobody trades Brazilian stocks, JC. What happened to that?
Listen, just a little bit. Just a little taste of Brazil for me.
Dude, Strazza, he's buying Brazil. He's trading EM Forex. He's planning a trip to Colombia. Like, who is this fucking guy?
A little BRZU maybe? We'll see. Look at
this guy. Are you guys in the chat paying attention? Are you seeing this? I feel like you guys are playing like an April Fool's joke on me and like try to get clever and like wait one more day so I wouldn't figure it out. Are you guys fucking with me?
I don't like April Fools. I got joked on yesterday.
You got joked on?
Yeah.
I didn't fall for anything. I usually do, but not yesterday. I was ready for it.
I wasn't. Yeah, I had my guard down.
I was going to tell people that I was moving over to fundamental analysis and I was going to be done with technicals, but like nobody would actually ever believe that.
Yeah, it still would have been funny.
Yeah. All right, let's bring Kenny. Let's see what's moving this morning.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, boy.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tug it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Mr. Kenny Glick, how are you, sir?
All right. What's happening?
I can't wait to hear it, Kenny. You got to talk to me about Newsmax, man.
No, I think you guys thought it was some sort of April Fool's joke, right? Did you guys understand the stock went from $17.50 to $287 a share, right?
I'm aware.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. And then
what does that mean to us? Strazza was very excited for your hit this morning.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, there was if you were able to hold 12-point jiggles, then it was good. I mean, it was actually paused in the middle of the day at 145, 145, 145. It was weird, and then it just took off again. But more importantly, that triggered the crossweave, which was the easier setup yesterday. Crossweave, which was kind of like the forgotten IPO, everybody was calling it a dud. If you don't think the people over at Crossweave were saying, hey, look at this Newsmax, can't we get something going? And wham, when that broke the IPO high day, tacked on 14. But in the middle of all that, they actually came out with a symbol, WTF. We're here, baby. We're here. We're at peak. I don't know what the word peak.
Hold on. Can you come back to that? There's a WTF.
WTF, $5 IPO. Didn't matter what it did. It was Wu-Tang Financial. That's what we was calling it. We're in. 5 got you 750, 750 get you 10, 10 get you 1250. Next thing you know, this thing's in the 20s.
It's literally called Wu-Tang Financial.
Wait, and guess where it's based? Who wants to guess where it's based?
China.
Compton?
Hong Kong. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
They're definitely not lying about what they're doing. They're definitely telling you the truth.
Let's reel it in for a second. You know, guys, we talk a lot of stocks each morning. And that Newsmax, before it came out, my friends, what did I tell you? With 7 million shares in the float, and one guy probably controls the whole thing, that stock had a potential. Once it got halted at 50, that's when we started thinking this thing's going to $250 a share. Now, I don't know what happens now, nor do I care, but that was something. And right now we're in a bizarro world. The last 2 days have been completely like I was transported back to 1999. These were just you just were buying symbols again, and they were just breaking new highs, getting halted. It was bizarro world. It really is.
Can your liver handle your behavior? Like if it was 1999, can you handle that at this point?
You know what it is? I wish I was more like I was back then, because I would have just sat back and just never even traded it. I mean, I would have been involved and just watched the ride, because what I did learn from there was that trading was not a good idea. You just needed to sit back and watch your stock. I mean, that was the days where if they announced a 2-for-1 split, the stock doubled, or a 4-for-1 split. And it was just ridiculous. We're almost there. I mean, yesterday, these last 48 hours of the market action has been absolutely bewildering, even to me. And I've lived all of this. I didn't think stocks would tack on 100 points after I was getting out of them. I'm selling this thing at 150, going, all right, cool, let's get out here. And then you're moving in 30-point increments. Just absolutely, it was amazing. Actually, I was amazed. And
can I ask you something, Kenny? Because you've got if you had hair, they would be you'd have some gray ones. And I was talking with the kids yesterday, and some of these kids, they don't remember a time where IPOs were a thing. They've only lived in the type of environment where IPOs are so the VCs can get liquid, right? They don't remember a time where a healthy IPO market was healthy for the market. Right. And you certainly remember those times intimately well. You were just alluding to them. I certainly remember those times. And the kids these days tell me that it's just not like that anymore, and it's never going to be like that again. I don't know if I buy that. Are you in the camp at your old age that a healthy IPO market is something that's good for the market? Or do you think it doesn't matter?
I felt I felt bad. It was bad luck for CrossWeave to come out while the market was in that massive sell program on Friday. But next thing you know, 2 days later, it woke up. But yeah, I believe it. I believe healthy IPO is a healthy market. And to see the action that's still bubbling underneath the surface of a market that, in the news, as everyone's kind of dismay about it, it's really not that bad. I mean, we've just had a correction in the NASDAQ, but those stocks waking up the way they did, that's all that we need as traders. So again, as far as the health of the market, I got to say it's another. I'm bearish. I think we could still have a hard time going up this year, but it's just telling you that this market is there's too much money involved for this market to ever stay down. And when it starts to go back up, just like that CrossWeave, just like the Newsmax, everyone's going to chase back in, and we'll be back at all-time highs before you know it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. So,
I mean, Kenny, U.S. households have by far more exposure to stocks than any other country in the world.
Right.
We are a country addicted to buying things and investing in stocks. That's what we're addicted to.
Right? There's a comedian. I think he's one of the Daily Show guys. I think he's Chinese. And he's like making fun of Americans. Americans, they just want more stuff. Yeah. More stuff. He's going, yeah. We don't have enough stuff. We got to buy more stuff. Then
we got to buy storage to put that stuff in. Yes. Yeah. Ask my wife.
If anybody has his name, the guy's name.
Yeah, Ronnie Cheng, I think.
Is that it? Dude, he's so good. It's hilarious. He's ripping his Chinese family. He's ripping Americans. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's old. It came out like 5-6 years ago. But
I know that guy.
Americans just want more stuff. More stuff.
and just to go back to some real stocks, look what they're doing to like BlackBerry this morning, right? I mean, that's why trading this market is the way to go, because that was an amazing trade coming out of the Andy Dufresne. We were talking about it in New York with the guy that I forgot his name, but he was talking about coming out of that Andy Dufresne, and he nailed it. And now the stock's down 50% since then. So again, this is still, to me, it's just a trading market. I think we're going to be in this big fat trading range for a while, and it's fantastic. And then earnings season is going to come in about 2 weeks. And we'll see what the banks have to say. And, again, the action is, we are living in the biggest casino every morning, and it's just fascinating to me. And again, I don't think I really was expecting to ever live a day like these last 2 days ever again. That's how insane it was. And I'm still a little flabbergasted from the last 2 days of action. That's how amazing it really was, and just shocking in a way.
Wow. Well, the good news is there's potentially more where that came from. So
exactly. And it never ends.
Hit thebid.com, guys. Kenny's there right now. His room is open. He's trading. He's talking to people. Be there with him live all day.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to have some special guests on tomorrow at the Schmooze. We're going to be talking about platforms because, a lot of times when these stocks get halted, it's good to have a better platform because you get a little halt warning, especially with these IPOs. They're getting halted. So if you don't have a level 2 staring you in the face, you're not going to know that they're about to get halted. So if you're afraid to hold into the halt, it gives you about a 5 to 7 second, little warning on the better platforms. So we're going to talk more about that on tomorrow night. So let me know if you want to come.
Yep.
Nice.
See you there, Kenny. And he's gone.
So Ronnie Chen, he was born into a Malaysian Chinese family. So he is
cool.
Lived in Singapore and Australia and New York, and he's been around. So he is Malaysian by way of China. Hilarious. So good.
He's
so
funny.
Good.
He's funny. All right, we got Brian Lund in the house. So
the best is when the Asians make fun of the Americans. It gets me every time. It is the best. I love their perspective of American culture is so good. They nail it. They nail it every time.
I mean, I like when anybody makes fun of Americans. I think making fun of Americans is like the peak. That's like the peak of comedy to me. Is making fun of Americans.
It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
There's so much material.
There is something that a foreigner, like Americans, there are things that we can't see about ourselves that you can only see if you're from another country or culture.
Right? I also like my Chinese friends and my Indian friends, when they make fun of their parents.
Yep.
Right? They make fun of their culture. It's really good.
Yeah.
All their parents want them to be doctors, right? And and then they work in tech, and their parents can't understand what it is that they do. That's so good.
All right, I'm bringing on Brian.
All right, bring him out. Yo, Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr. BC Lund, how are you, sir?
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Listen, we're just bringing in all the elder gentlemen here, to talk about IPOs, right?
Yeah.
Strazza's making fun of me that I'm turning into like a cranky old man.
He's age shaming me and others on the analyst team. Brian,
turning into a cranky old man.
Yeah, right.
Have I always been a cranky old man?
Hey, do me a favor, JC. Read this. Read this. Tell me what this says here, right here.
Wilshire 500. It's backwards.
No, not Wilshire. There's no Wilshire. Okay, it's called the Wilshire 500.
Wilshire?
It's like Worcester sauce.
Oh, is that what it is?
England,
are you shaming me for my Cuban accent now? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, look at him pull the culture card right there.
I whip it out when I can. No,
you haven't had a Cuban accent for.
Dude, my Cuban accent comes out when I have a few cocktails and I start getting all riled up. It comes out. A
couple Cuba Libres and you're just Ricky Ricardo, right?
Little bit. BC Lund, I'm going to bring this back, pulling the old man card here. I remember a time where IPOs were a thing. I remember a time where companies would actually raise money and go public so that they can grow their company and build infrastructure and buy inventory and all of those things. It's not, it hasn't always been this thing where VCs are getting liquid on their IPO, and that's what the IPO market is. I remember a good time. Over the last few days, we've gotten some action.
Hold on with this old man stuff, because stop. Back during the .com bubble, all the companies that were coming public were bullshit then too. It was the same thing. So, do you remember the 80s IPO market? Is that what you're talking about? When they were
can we let Brian Lund tell us about the Great Depression and what it was like? Brian, was it as depressing as they say it was?
We never knew if it was going to end. We didn't know, but it did. Look, so yeah, it used to be back in the day, in the 80s, is that you could still get the hockey stick part of a stock's run post IPO. But the only reason, as everyone knows, is because there just wasn't enough money out there to take a company like Microsoft to the next level. Now we've got these, VCs that just have raised billions. There's so much money, especially during ZERP. So Yeah, we saw Newsmax go crazy. We saw WTF, right, go crazy. But like those are really not in the same category as Microsoft. Like I think the crazy IPOs we will see in the future, like Kenny referred to, are going to be 7 million share float, and one guy's got almost all of it. I don't think we're ever going to see a mature company like a Microsoft have that sort of run in the IPO market, or at least, I mean, not as a regular part of the market.
WTF is such a good ticker.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but hold on. Strazza said something yesterday that I thought was interesting. So
Yeah.
Todd Sohn was mentioning that in the institutional world, when you have like ticker symbols like YOLO and things like that, and like WTF, like no like serious portfolio manager is going to send statements to their LPs where their LPs can see that their largest position is in YOLO. You know what I mean? So there are certain ticker symbols
that just can't
that they have
survive.
to stay away from that reason. And I hadn't quite thought of that. I hadn't thought about it like that. I thought it was an interesting point.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Is that you're only going to get kind of wacky stocks that are going to have this sort of, they're going to go up 700% IPO. So
When you make your ticker that, you're like saying we're with retail.
Wasn't YOLO like a marijuana stock ETF anyway? So at that point, what the fuck's the difference, right?
Advisor shares or something, but it's gone now, I believe.
So Brian, I'm thrilled to have you here today. Steve Strazza and I are not yelling at each other and disagreeing on every word coming out of our mouths. We are uncomfortably agreeing a bit too much for my taste.
We're feeling liberated, I think.
Yeah, are you feeling liberated? Or do they celebrate this in California, or have they banned Liberation Day?
is this like the Kumbaya show? What is going on here? I don't understand why you guys all in agreement and
it's Liberation Day, Brian.
I think that we just agreed that we're just talking about different time horizons and just we're being grown adults, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay. All right. Where do you want me to go with that? Look, I think people are too quick to think that the bottom is in the market, right? Ever since we started going risk off on the 21st in my, with my subscribers, and I haven't seen anything compelling to show me that it's time to go back in. So like, I'm with you. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, like wait for the market to work through its magic. The time frames that I'm looking at, swing trading, which is I think where the fat pitches are, just is off the table for now. So enjoy the spring. I'm having air conditioning put in my house this week. Like there's things happening in life besides the markets.
You can start taking shots, but depending on your time frame, you're going to get really chopped up if you start taking shots too soon. Let the market build out some sort of tradable low first.
Yeah, I think what happens is you get, there's always a new crop of traders. Some people that have been in the market for 3 to 5 years, and they just haven't seen the cycles like we have. And we were all in that spot at one point. So they see a day where we get a big reversal and they think, okay, this is it. That was the pullback. It's time to now go long. Well, that hasn't worked really well the last month or so. And so, yeah, you can do what are called cash flow trading days, where you're kind of flat at the open and you're flat at the close, and you've done some stuff in between. But you really have to be specialized to do that. You have to be watching every tick. You have to be fast. And, again, I've said this before, at this point in my life, I'm not really into that mode. Like I'll scalp some stuff every now and then, but like I'm totally fine. Last year was a fantastic year. Beginning of this year was a fantastic year. I'm totally fine just waiting for the pitches to get fatter and to pick my spots, having better odds in my favor.
I've been trying to figure out how to talk about that. But if you're here for the primary trend, right, and you feel that the cycle is ending, that really matters. Like, where did we come from? How have I done, right? If you're happy with the way this bull cycle was or whatever it is, isn't it easier to take profits? And how much do you kind of let that weigh into your decision making? Because a lot of times when I'm taking profits at the end of a cycle, you get the FOMO for real, especially if you're a little bit early. You miss some melt up rallies. I was selling Palantir late last year. The 50s, 60s felt great for a week, until it didn't. So that happens a lot. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I've learned this new term called JOMO, joy of missing out.
That's a Perlman thing.
Yeah. Good. And it's one of those things where, like, again, you get a big reversal day, everyone jumps into the pool, and then you open up gap down, 300 points the next day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine that I missed out there. Yeah. I think it's just a maturity thing, Steve. And I'm not saying I'm so mature, but I'm saying I spent 75, 80% of my trading career trying to be the fastest, trying to get in on everything, trying to make every move. There's this idea that if you're a trader, anything that has a chart you can trade. And maybe that's true, but should you trade everything? I don't think so. And so I think it's just it's an age thing. It's age and experience thing. You get burned enough times, you figure out what the risk reward ratio is and when it's in and out of your favor. And also, I think you just have more things going on in your life. Like I've got kids, I've got a family, I have things that I can do when the market is not in a conducive mode. And I think when you're younger, you're going to do everything, right? But you're going to just focus on the market 24/7. That's fine. I mean, I think it's a rite of passage. But I also think that you lower the chances that you're going to come out of that phase of your career successful, and that you'll learn anything that's going to help you going further.
I think you got to do it. I remember a time where I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be like, what's the craziest shit going on today? Natural gas inventories at 11? Fuck yeah, let's go. Like that was real life, 15, 17 years ago, more, that was real life. Like, it was like, all right, what's the craziest shit going on today? Let's do that.
Yeah, to some extent, you're seeing it probably play out right in your own house, JC. I mean, you have kids now, and you want to tell them of your experience so they can avoid doing things, so they can avoid getting hurt, so they can avoid being in bad situations. But at some point, you realize as a father, they're going to have to make their own mistakes, and you try to keep them away from the really bad fatal mistakes. But they're going to touch the hot stove sometime by mistake, but guess what? They're going to learn not to touch the hot stove again, right? You can't avoid that sort of situation.
And then do I pull out the I told you so? Like when my daughter's sitting in the chair, she can't sit, she's got ants in her pants and she can't keep her goddamn butt down in the chair. And I keep telling her, you're going to fall off the chair. You're going to hit your face against the table. And she falls off the chair. She hits her face on the table. She starts crying. Like, I feel bad being like, I told you. But do I do that and reiterate that daddy was trying to help, or do I just let it go?
It's a tough one because there's so many cliche things that I did as a young parent that my parents did. Like, my kids didn't want to eat their broccoli. I pulled out there's kids starving in China card. Guess what? There may be kids starving in China, but it doesn't make the broccoli taste any better, right? Like, it's an unrelatable lesson to them. My daughter had her wisdom teeth out this week, which is not fun. We've all done it, but part of me was like empathetic and sympathetic because it sucked. But part of me is like, you're kind of leaning into this a little too much, so it's, you really have to kind of find a middle ground. And also every kid is different, right? Certain kids respond to praise. Certain kids respond to rewards. Certain respond to, you set a goal for them. So everyone's got their own, they call it a language of love, and you just got to figure it out.
Great dad advice. That's some really good dad stuff.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Yeah.
Mr. BC Lund, Spencer, can you throw up? I didn't throw it up here. I want to talk about, your thoughts here on crypto. I know you dabble. I think you made a good point that you don't need to trade everything. Yeah. There's a lot of things that we look at here that we don't necessarily trade. I don't trade emerging market Forex, for example. I look at it every day.
Brian, do you consider yourself like a U.S. growth guy?
I don't even know what that means.
Good for you, Brian. That's a stupid
will you go to uncorrelated areas of the market, or when U.S. growth cools off, it's hard for you to kind of find opportunities?
I couldn't. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to sound crazy. I couldn't define what a growth stock is for you. I really couldn't. I mean, I'm sure. I know there's some criteria, but I just look at stocks that come in and out of my off my watch lists based upon price action, and I've got 500 names that are in my universe. And at any given time, there's maybe 2 to 3 dozen that are coming in and out. Price and volume will move them in and out. And if they're growth stocks, great. And if they're not growth stocks, I look for liquidity. Are they liquid, right? Do they have a tight bid and ask spread? Do they move in relatively predictable ways? If that's the case, then I'm in for whatever type of stocks they are.
So you're going to find pockets of strength in any environment.
Yeah, and I'm gonna miss things too, right? But I'm okay with that, or at least more than I used to be.
Do you have hard lines, like no go? I will never trade utility stocks, or I will never trade China battery companies. Do you have any no goes?
So I almost never would trade an ADR. right? I would almost never trade something that's like there's a stock rig, right? Which is
hold on. Stop right there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm curious your thoughts
Sure.
on the rig. What is your beef with ADRs?
They're generally just less liquid. They're gappy, you know, because they're based overseas.
Yeah.
You can have news overnight, or
That's
you know, in Europe, whatever, and then you wake up next morning and it's just I just don't like gappy stocks, intraday or daily.
Gappy bastards, these ADRs.
Gappy bastards, right?
Really
They are
are.
gappy bastards.
That was
But, like,
my
things
80s rap
like-
name, Gappy Bastard. Yeah.
Gappy bastards. So things like Alibaba or Petrobras or like some of these
Some are
huge
worse than
ADR
others.
ASML. Like these are massive companies. Like you just stay away from them always. UBS, HSBC.
Depends on the volatility of the currency too.
Yeah, well, and now you're starting to get like I have a friend who was telling me about a stock a couple weeks ago, and somehow it had the movement was based upon the Peruvian elections, right? I'm like, when I'm getting that in the weeds, I'm like, I don't want to even know about that. Yeah,
I gotta tell you though, the Swedish krona. If you're not involved, get involved. This is a special base, dude. You see this? You see it? You like it?
I've been talking
What?
about this for months. Jesus Christ.
It's going.
Finally, Strazza's coming
Today.
out. Are you guys trolling me?
No.
I've been talking about the Swedish krona, like literally like screaming into the air. Speaking of old man behavior.
Yeah.
Screaming
what
into
is that?
the air, talking about-
CHF? What is the symbol on that?
No, it's the SEK, and it's the best base out there.
Are you watching the Naki-Saki ratio now too?
I
No.
thought the Swiss it's the Swiss dollar. I thought the Swiss dollar was CHF. Isn't that
It's a Swiss
cheap?
franc.
Swiss franc. Sorry, franc.
And it is CHF. Switzerland is east of Sweden. It's like south.
There's this great story. I think it's the first story in Market Wizards or Market Wizards 2 about Bill Lipschitz, the famous currency trader, trading on the Solomon desk, and it has to do with the franc, the Swiss franc, and there's also another one, right? The French franc, and there was a third one. Anyway, I don't know why that came up, but it's a good story. Used to read it.
You know, the Swissy doesn't give me enough juice.
Hmm.
This is like the staples of currency land, isn't it?
I can't even listen to this guy right now talking about all these forex markets. What happened to Steve?
Dude,
You came into this conversation talking about agreement, talking about lifting of and now we can't talk about currency.
Oh no, I'm in full agreement. I'm more surprised that he's saying any of the words that are currently coming out of his mouth. Usually I bring up the krona and he's like,
stop.
nobody trades the krona, JC. People own NVIDIA and Microsoft. I don't even know this
I'm
guy.
curious, JC, whose voice is that? I know you're parodying somebody. Is it someone in your life that talk like that when they talk about the
I don't
krona?
know.
Somebody in the chat said you do a great impression of me. Should kick that guy out.
Yeah, I know.
You're
that
like
Steve? Is that supposed to be Steve?
You're like Asians making fun of Americans. There's just so much material. It's just too easy. It's
That's
too
funny.
easy.
That's funny.
No, but Colin nailed it. The EWD. Problem with the EWD that I don't love. I've done my homework, JC. Okay, don't act like you don't know how versatile I can be. The largest holding not traded in SEK. It's actually Spotify, which is listed on the Luxembourg exchange. It's a huge component of the EWD, and it's in euro. So you're getting less.
EWD, is that the Swiss ETF? EWD?
Sweden. We're still in Sweden.
Sweden.
They're
Sorry.
taking away that Krona juice that you want. But
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Sweden. Oh, I thought we were talking about Switzerland. That's
Sweden.
why.
Put another shrimp on the
kroner,
bobby.
Hello, the kroner. No. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
My neighbors from Sweden, their colors are yellow and blue. They actually hang the flag in front of their house.
So my last name Lund is actually a town in Sweden. They call it Lund, and
Really?
there's Lund University. So technically, I have Swedish, Norwegian, Scandinavian background, I guess.
Dude, the lingonberries. I'm so into the lingonberries that they have up there. Dude, they're so good.
IKEA, man. IKEA.
Dude, get down with some. They sell the lingonberries at IKEA?
100% they do. Not only do they sell,
really?
not only do they sell them there, they sell when you go to the soda thing, it's like Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, lingonberry juice.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it? What is this?
It's just like
Just
a
a
lovely
berry.
berry that we don't have
Really?
in New York. You know?
Yeah, it's not native to Manhattan. Yeah.
No, not native to Manhattan, but it is lovely. There's lingonberries. I'm totally into them. Hold on. Let's get back to something important like cryptocurrencies.
Sure.
This one stands out to me. Curious to hear your thoughts, Mr. BC Lund. You have been around our community. I don't remember you not being around our community, truthfully. I mean, you've just always been around as long as I've known all these guys. You know, and we've been talking about crypto, and we have made fun of crypto people together, both behind their backs and to their face, right? Like we break balls, and like we've been through the cycles, we've seen it all, we've traded them, the whole thing. You had a high back in 22. And then you had that correction. You came back. You exceeded those highs last year, and now we're pulling back to those levels. This is total crypto market cap. This is the total value of cryptocurrencies. Do you think there's any validity here to, you know, looking at that quote unquote resistance potentially turning into support? You think there's a chance of a massive failed breakout here and the whole thing completely falls apart? Do you not think about this at all? Like, I want to hear both your thoughts.
I mean, I think about it because it's like you talked about EEM, right? You don't trade it, but you pay attention to it. And I pay attention to this. My subscribers pay attention to this. I mean, if my first glance, if I'm just looking at this and you say gun to your head, to me, it looks like it ends up going higher, right? But it's obviously, it's that recent pivot there is kind of where it's all at, right? If you fail that, then it is definitely probably going lower. But I mean, it's impressive. Look, I've been a crypto skeptic from day one. I still am to some extent. It's just not my thing. But there's no doubt that it's a real thing and people are doing well in it. So yeah, I don't see why it doesn't go higher.
Strazza, any thoughts on this, or you think this is just a fugazi chart?
I think it's going to go where Bitcoin goes. And right now, man, Bitcoin's looking rather sprightly here.
What is that? What is that word? What is that word?
The Bears have their chance right now.
I don't know this word. Sprightly?
Like a sprite, sprite, little wood sprite, or, little nymph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wood sprite? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Not the drink.
No.
Wood sprite?
Yeah. Look it up. Look it up, Spencer. You're like you're like Rogan's Jamie. Look it up, Spencer.
Spencer's our AI. The last 5 days here, bouncing right off the August low VWAP. Literally every day, bang, 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 bang. They can't take it out.
Yep, VWAP. Yep.
And what?
No, drop that WAP. It comes in right around 81.6 here. We shook below it early March, popped back above it. We've kind of been riding it, and we just keep testing it, and they can't break it down. We're going on a month here at this level, right? So if they're not going to break it down here, I think eventually you're going to get another pop and run to the upside. In that case, the crypto market cap is going to rebound off of that big level.
Where's the chart of the market cap of pot stocks? I'd like to see that one.
It's so close to zero that it looks like a zero line.
These pot guys, they crack me up, right? Like you'll see pot gets like a 5% pop during the day, and they'll go, "Is it just me, or is there a bid in pot?" Meanwhile, you zoom out and the chart, like you can't even see it with a microscope. They're the most delusional bunch I've ever seen.
There's never been a worse thematic. Came out and went straight down forever.
Everything they threw at it was going to change things. Oh, when New York legalizes it. Oh, when this happened, like now it's safe banking. Like they were so in on Biden, right? All these pot guys which are probably liberals by default. Oh, Biden, we're going to do it. Now they've all flipped. Now Trump is their guy. He's going to do it. He's going to, it's ridiculous.
GW Pharmaceuticals was the last good pot stock. I think it's been off the market for like 8 years now.
Here, throw up. You could throw up that new slide too, there, Spencer, and we could get into the how lovely this thing is. This is you can't make this shit up. Brian Lund and Steve Strazza are absolutely right. These have been the worst companies and the worst ETFs in the history of publicly traded companies and ETFs.
So ridiculous.
I mean, literally.
That thing's still around.
I said the same thing. I couldn't believe it either. Amazing. I swear to God, I said, you're literally taking the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe this thing still exists.
Listen, if there's a will, there's a way. People are willing to buy
There's guys out there with Twitter handles that have weed in their Twitter handle that pivoted about a year ago to talking about their kids all day long. That's all they do now. They don't even mention pot stocks anymore. No.
I can't even imagine. Can you imagine? At what point do you just say, hey, I was wrong, This is a cheap commodity that's getting cheaper. This is a deflationary environment for pot. Do you see what I did there? That's my economist coming out. Is this deflationary asset, Strazza?
I knew some people who grew some weed back in the day. That's all you need to know to be bearish on pot.
Dude, the fact that if you want to go buy a 20 bag of weed, it's going to cost you less than what it used to cost us in college is crazy.
Yeah.
It should be free.
The move in this space was to do what Todd Sullivan did 4 or 5 years ago, retail, right? I was talking with him about this. He said, don't touch the pot stocks, but open up a retail shop. And he was right, you know.
Wow. There's so many down here now. It's absolutely
I think now those have hit a point of saturation, but back then Dan Merkin and Todd Sullivan were the two guys that told me back in the day, don't touch these pot names. And Merkin, you know, who I think probably enjoys a little cannabis from time to time. Yeah, he told me that the cap tables are a train wreck on these companies. He was right. He was 100% right.
Shout out Bitcoin miners.
Hold on. The only people, so Spencer takes this personally because Spencer considers some of these pot stocks blue chips.
No, I mean,
have you moved on, Spencer?
Well, it's all relative, right? I mean,
you've said that before.
Yeah, not really. It's not really relative.
I don't want to pigeonhole Brian Lund into pot stocks just because he's a Californian.
Yeah, why do you always bring it up when he's on here? It's not fair.
I know, because he's funny when he breaks balls about it. That's why we set him up. The
reason I bring pot stocks up is because it is a learning lesson. I was at a 2018 Stocktoberfest and I saw the most wonderful presentation, like a beautiful PowerPoint deck on this generational change, a wealth opportunity of a generation in pot stocks. All of the stocks in that deck are gone, and it's just a reminder for young people out there: don't just believe what somebody says. You have to do your own work, whether that's fundamental or technical or whatever. And that's probably the last time I actually believed someone else. I said, oh, he's an expert in a field I don't know. I should listen to him. And,
yeah, but Brian, I'll take it one step further. Not only should you not believe what people say, I think you should just assume they're lying to you. Life is just so much easier that way, just to assume that everyone's completely full of shit.
But here's another thing.
You're never going to be disappointed. You'll be pleasantly surprised when you realize some of them are in fact not completely full of shit.
But the corollary to that is at the same Stocktoberfest, I saw Melton Demores there talking about Bitcoin, right? Yep. And she was the exact same with Bitcoin, like the pot guy, right? I even walked up to her afterwards and I said, you know, it's probably not a good idea putting all your net worth in crypto. So, you know. Shows you what I know.
No, I remember arguing with her too, because I had told her at the time, I was like, you know, it's a rounding error. It's not a real asset. Institutions can't participate. And she took that, you know, her and I are friends now, and still are. But I remember she took it kind of like offensive, like, what do you mean it's not a real asset? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, institutions can't touch it because it's such an irrelevant market capitalization. They're too big to bother. And that was back then. And what's really interesting now is that I vividly remember that conversation. And here we are, and the institutions are all over it, you know, which is really fascinating. So I was right then that it was irrelevant, and I think that it's more relevant now. I think it's a relevant asset class. I really do.
So I know Spencer's here to give me the hook. So before I go, real quick, you guys have your future-proof tickets yet?
No, not at all. I haven't even thought about it. I just came back from a future-proof.
Got mine for
already?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Registration's open.
Where?
Hyena Beach.
In October?
September.
Yeah, man. Everybody's talking about it already.
April.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Who's
registration open last week?
Who's the musical guest? Diddy?
They're so far in advance. I don't think they have that, but registration, I got confirmation. I got my ticket, so I'm ready to go.
I'll be there, Brian. Can't wait to see you.
We're going to go on the swag run earlier this year, though, right? We're not going to wait till they're wrapping stuff up, right?
Oh, I gotta tell you about some of the stuff I got last week. It was great. Yeah.
Where do you keep all this junk, Strazza?
I got a box of golf balls. I got a box of Pro V1s last week.
Dude, you want to make your wife happy? Go on a swag run. Seriously, she loves everything.
I did go on a swag run. I came back. She was like, "Why'd you bring all this crap?" And she threw it all away.
Well, my guess is Morgan has a little bit. Morgan's level is, you know, unless you're on an LV swag run, probably she's not, you know, interested in that.
She's like, "Why'd you bring all this stuff?" I was like, "Oh, because Strazza said that I should bring it for the kids. She's like, well, Strazza said it.
I'll talk to Morgan.
Look how he throws you under the bus, Steve. Oh my
She's
God.
wrong. No, I'm right about
she
that.
makes
Larry.
I wear clothes, and I was like, oh, Giancarlo told me to wear this shirt. She's like, well, if the guy that wears cat shirts says that it's nice, then in that
Basically, JC has this all-star charts company so he can use people to throw under the bus in his marriage, right? Every time something goes wrong, it's like, Spencer told me that, you know?
No, but they give it right back, and they're like, oh, JC, another zip up. I'm like, my wife told me to wear it. I told everybody gets thrown under the bus.
Louis told me this would be good. Grant said
Brian
this
knows
would
how
be
this
great.
works. Hey, we need Wu-Tang financial shirts.
No, we do not need Wu-Tang. That's, I think, copyright infringement.
That's definitely copyright infringement.
Yeah, I don't think we could do that. We don't have those kind. We don't have that kind of liability insurance. I don't think.
You know them.
You know the RZA?
I did engage in some activities with a few members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
I threw that out there. RZA. So it looks like I'm hip, but I don't even know who that is.
RZA.
The RZA.
I know.
He's cousins with the Jizza.
I know that from Chappelle's show.
Raekwon's
That's how I know
too,
it.
right?
No.
There's a bunch of cousins in there.
Yeah.
And some are from Brooklyn on the other side of the Verrazano from Shaolin.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, seriously, shout out bonds. Diversify your bonds.
Strazza, like I feel like I don't even know this guy. He's talking to me yesterday about leveraged bond ETFs.
TMF.
Today he's talking to me about the Corona. What
TMF.
happened to this guy?
Yeah.
TMF 2.5% here today. Get on board, baby. Choo-choo.
I love it. Brian Lund, give us one more name on the radar. What do you got?
So we were looking at this last time I was on, and it was pretty strong then, and it hasn't cracked yet. SE.
So good.
Not a
It's
shipping
so good.
stock.
It's the best one, Brian. I love you.
I know.
He just gave you the best stock, everybody.
Dude, you literally
the
just
best
started
fucking-
this conversation today telling us that you don't trade ADRs. And I ask you for a name and you give me a goddamn ADR. Like, what are we? Is this
That's
the
great.
Twilight Zone? Are you guys just fucking with me today?
I am a giver. I like to give out advice and give out options for people, even if I don't do it myself. That's what I am, JC. I sacrifice my own, well-being for others.
This SE, this stock excites me.
I don't
in a
understand. You
special way.
literally just told me that you don't trade ADRs. I ask you for one name and you give me an ADR. Like, what is happening?
I literally just explained why. I literally just said it in the sentence before. I said, because I want people to be aware of things that are good for me, even if
And
I
you're
don't
just
trade
not
it.
going to trade it because it's not American?
Man has rules. Okay.
Hold on, are you really not going to trade it because it's not American?
Is this where you throw me under the bus, JC? I'm not
No,
with
I just-
All-Star Charts.
I-
You can't
you know,
throw.
as-
You don't
as
pay my.
wise
You don't
man,
pay
I'm
my
just
salary. You
wondering.
can't throw me under the bus.
You
but
did
you
say wait. You did say you don't trade ADRs. So
Right. So you're just not going
Okay,
to
so
trade it. You're
let
just a giver
me
here.
reel this back. You guys said, "What's a good-looking chart?" You didn't say, "What are you trading?" I said,
give me one more
SE.
name that you're looking at.
Oh my goodness.
This is the best one.
This is. I just don't understand
He
how you're
gave
not
it
going
to
to
you.
trade it just because it's from Singapore. What's your
I'm
beef with
sorry. I
Singaporeans?
apologize for them, Brian.
That's all right, Steve. I know what
You
I'm
know.
stepping into when I get here. It's okay.
Imagine my life.
By the
And
way,
here's the thing. And see, Brian, we like you. Imagine.
I know. Imagine if you didn't like me.
Imagine. We
Hey,
really,
also,
really like
real-
you a lot.
Real quick, I just started a new series for subscribers called Meditations on Markets. Okay, so it's a little bit less on the charts and the technical part, but like the mindset around markets. So that launches this weekend.
is that on the Lund Loop?
It is.
Okay. The
We're
Lund
talking
Loop-
about decluttering your trading and investing this Saturday.
Oh, the
Right.
Lund Loop. The link to that is in the description on
You should
YouTube.
start a newsletter about ADRs that you're not trading. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, these are the best ADRs that I'm not going to trade, but you should look at them.
You know what I love
Marcus
about when you bust balls, JC, is how you entertain yourself. That's what I love. You're laughing the most at what you're saying. That's great.
I'm here to make myself laugh, and you guys just make it easy. I appreciate.
And your
it.
laugh has a Cuban accent to it, which is weird.
It does a little bit. I start crying. I'm literally in tears right now.
Great, Brian. Thank you as always. Or thank you and or I'm sorry. I don't even know.
Yeah. See you in a month.
Appreciate it, my man.
Hi, Brian.
Brian Lund, what a legend.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, like when it comes to like this community of like, financial, social media and all that stuff, like I don't remember Brian not being around. Like he's just been there. He's OG.
Yeah.
True OG.
He was when I did before I knew which way was up. He was one of the first guys I just found on Twitter. Because he was just there, right? So I've been following him for like a decade or more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And then he was always easy to recognize because he's always the tallest one.
Yeah, tall guy.
He's like a real tall guy. He's got that tall guy game on point right now.
He's had the same Twitter picture forever, so I only know him as his like Twitter avatar, which is a picture of his kid. I think.
Dude, he's
right?
like 6'5" or more. Like he's humongous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
So at a bar, like his whole head stands out. You know, especially at a bar with hundreds of people.
You know, I was thinking a little more on the cannabis. I have one more thought. You know what else nobody wants that was like such a huge miss? I wish Brian was still here. Nobody wants pot in their soft drink. Nobody wants pot in their energy drink. Nobody wants pot in a beer. Nobody wants like pot in their lotion or pot in their honey to put in their tea. All of this shit is so stupid. It's an absolute
No. See,
nobody
now,
wants it. It's
I'm
absolute
gonna old
trash.
man shame you again. My grandmother uses the cannabis
CBD
rub on her
ointment.
knees for her arthritis.
Does it really work? That's not
She
real.
likes it. My dad uses it too.
If it helps, it helps. I will say that this
Are you saying Abuela is not telling? Are you gonna throw Abuela under the bus? She's 95. What do you have to say?
I'm just saying. I don't know if the active ingredient or the THC is what's helping it. Maybe it's just nice lotion.
She's into it. She's into it.
The only thing I'll add is what Brian said is just admit you're wrong. We're coming up this December marks the 10-year anniversary of the launch of the MJ. That was the first cannabis ETF in America. So December of this year. It's been almost 10 years.
Long 10 years for these stocks.
It's down 93% in 10 years.
Congrats to all the survivors. I mean, have you survived this? You, Spencer, you are a blue chip.
I didn't survive it. I've been in and out of these things several times over the past 5 or 6 years. And
the stocks that survived it.
Yeah. And to Brian's point, like it can be hard to go to a conference and not come back uber bullish on something, right? Because these conferences are convincing. I went to a bunch of them.
Strazza came back uber bearish on crypto because all these financial advisors were yelling.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Bearish too, but no, I went to a bunch of cannabis conferences, and yeah, you always leave them feeling positive, and then things happen.
Let's bring this back to slide 5.
All right, and then I'm bringing Mary out.
Yeah, bringing this back to slide 5. We've got a Karen in the chat here. Noah says that the JC say if the Nasdaq broke up above 20K, that would be bullish. So if we break out to all-time highs, that would be bullish. Wow, profound. Glad we all know that now. So I appreciate the sarcasm. I do. And yes, it's not so much about the all-time highs, although that is historically evidence that it's not a downtrend. So yes, all-time highs would be constructive, but it's more so where the all-time highs would come from post-consolidation at a key extension level. That 20,000 level is not just an all-time high. It's an actual mathematical scientific level. So it's not just that all-time highs would be bullish. It's where those all-time highs would transpire if they were to transpire. And I would think it'd be incredibly bullish.
Yeah, Noah, it's science.
Yeah, it's just fucking science, bro.
Damn. I wish I had my Bill Nye sound clip. Science rules. I don't. Okay. We got Mary here. Let's bring her out.
All right. Bring her out. What's up, Mary?
Good morning. Happy Liberation Day.
Can somebody explain to me what this means? I asked at the beginning of the show. They just completely ignored me.
I'm pretty sure
it's not anything to do with Juneteenth.
I'm pretty sure it's Libation Day. That's what today is. It's Libation Day.
Libations are just beverages, right? Adult beverages are libations?
Yes.
I like that.
I could use one of those maybe a little bit later.
It's a little early, man. I can't be day drinking these days. I used to day drink all the time. I can't do it these days. What do you got, Mary? What are we YOLOing today?
Not YOLOing anything right now. My mind's kind of in two places. So the first is more short term, with announcements that are being made today after what I think at 4. Curious to see obviously the reaction. So I kind of went back because I've got the poli-sci background. All this kind of political stuff interests me. And so, back in 2018, when Trump first announced the tariffs, January, we went down, market went down, right? And around April, May, things started to kind of relax and deals were made and and then the market went up. So I mean, it kind of feels like history is not going to repeat itself exactly, but it's kind of feeling similar. So I've kind of just watching to see how the market reacts. Has all of this already been priced in? And where do we go next? And because we're at such interesting levels and at such interesting inflection points in the market right now, I feel like this would be a great place for us to rip here from here. And maybe that's short term. Maybe it's just a bounce. But at the same time, he could come out and say he's taxing everyone 50%. I don't know. And then we go down further.
Who's he?
The president.
President Trump.
Got it.
So that's kind of like today, I'm just kind of watching and waiting to see. So I brought along a couple of charts for shorter term. Amazon, of course, I mean, this is more of my long-term play anyway, but I've talked about this one a couple of times. I think I brought this with me the last time I was here. And it's just such an obvious key level right here at about 190, 200. And I'm still in. And, it's kind of that conversation that JC, you were talking about in the conference call last night. If these levels in things like discretionary and semis and, a bunch of others, homies, if they break, then, bull market over. And so right here, you can easily define your risk. And that's what I've done for myself with this trade, because we're going to know very quickly if we're wrong, and it's going to go against us, I would assume, by the end of the week. So obviously you've got great risk reward in a setup like this, and so many charts look like this. So the next one that I brought is just the software ETF, IGV. Same story here. It looks almost exactly the same as Amazon, right? You had the base and then the breakout. Now we're kind of like at the retest. What happens? A lot of the names in software look this way. And so I've got just a whole watch list of things that I'm going to be watching in the next couple of days to see what happens. So that's kind of more of my shorter term outlook of kind of what I'm personally doing. But then longer term, I brought along some monthly charts because I was telling you guys that I have been poking around in energy and also precious metals. And so this is a monthly chart of Comstock Resources. And this one, I got my alert last week because we were closing above that VWAP anchored from the 2008 highs, which coincidentally also comes in right at this level where it's had trouble breaking out from. So what is this, around 22-ish? I love a great base. So this one for me is one that I'm interested in from the long time. I'm already pretty long energy just from legacy positions. We put on an option, what was that, last year, for way out there.
It was like 3 years. I still got mine.
Something crazy. Yeah, me too. I just kind of set it and forget it. So
that was the point of it, right? Because remember,
exactly.
It's like, do we have enough energy exposure? No. What's a cheap, easy way to add to energy exposure where we don't have to think about it again, and we know that we can go to sleep at night knowing that we got some action, and that was it?
Exactly. So I like this one from the long side. Again, commodities have been an interesting place to be. Energy outperforming here, and has it, but not the first, has it, what, I don't remember from the conference call last night. Yeah, the top sector from the first quarter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so lot of great setups in energy. I've got a ton of alerts that have.
Is CRK American? I think it is, right?
Yes.
I do not know.
This is Jerry Jones. This is like West Texas.
Oh yeah, you're right. This is the one Jerry Jones has been buying. Good call.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I like this one, especially when I can put a VWAP in there and have an area of interest from some overhead supply that's developed there over the last several years. Also, another one that I brought along is Hess. And so again, a monster base from those 2008 highs. The last several years, we've just kind of been sideways, almost kind of coiling. And of course, on a monthly basis, this takes forever. But, I got an alert on this one that was kind of breaking out of this coil. And to me, as long as we are above that 160-ish to the long side, it looks great. It's had a lot of time to consolidate and hopefully is off to the races now. The last,
Mary, I really like what you're doing here.
Thanks.
Especially go back to the Comstock. I really like how you're combining these things. This very shows your wisdom. Go back to the Comstock. There you go. So you're talking about the anchored VWAP from the highs. You're talking about former resistance, all in the exact same place. So that confluence of levels of interest, as a one Mr. Brian Shannon likes to say, I think it's spot on. Nice work there. Really nice
Thank you.
work.
I appreciate that. I feel like sometimes I'm using too many indicators. There's
No,
always
but
so
that's the
many
whole
lines
point.
all
It's
over
not
my
like-
charts. I take all of them off for you guys because I know you don't want to see all the lines.
No, I appreciate here. I appreciate this a lot. That confluence of those indicators. It's not so much an indicator, it's just an anchored VWAP, right? So it's a volume weighted average price at that price, and you have former resistance. So it's not so much an indicator as it is just price and math, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because an anchored VWAP is not an indicator. What does it indicate? It doesn't indicate anything. It's just an average price.
True. Very true.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a smoothing. It's a smoothing mechanism.
That's very true. Yes. So, and then also I've been poking around in the precious metal space. This is one that stood out to me just because, again, we were completing huge base on the gold fields. And, gold, I'm a little bit hesitant to get in at this point. I've been in gold in the long-term account, silver as well. And it feels a little cute to maybe be getting long gold at this point, just because gold is kind of, it's a bit off of its averages, right? So it kind of feels a little bit extended to me. But again, who knows? Especially, again, we've got news today. And this one is set up really, really nice. It's made big moves here. And again, this is a monthly chart. So maybe it needs to digest a little bit more before taking off, or maybe it just screams right through it. But I love the setup because I love a big base.
I got to tell you, Mary, they've been breaking my balls for weeks every time I bring out Africa and talk about how Africa's up double digits this year. And here comes Mary. Very nice.
I don't have enough
lovely.
Africa. I gotta admit.
How come nobody's messing with you? They make fun of nobody trades Africa, JC. Nobody trades Africa. Well, Mary does. Thank you, Mary.
Not yet. I'm not in this one yet. But
no,
it
I know.
caught my
But,
eye.
You're into it, right? This is Africa. Shout out Africa. I don't understand why everyone's hating on Africa.
The place doesn't concern me. It's the price action and the base and where it's coming from. Who cares
Preach,
where it's
Mary.
from?
Tell them.
All right.
Tell them, Mary. Mary coming in hot today. I like it.
So that's what I brought along for today. That's where my mind is at. Great conference call last night, JC. A lot of energy in there. Whew.
A lot of energy from me or energy stocks?
Energy stocks. Well, of course, there's always energy from you. Come on.
I think,
Yeah.
It's good. I was out late the night before. Can we do some recess? I want Mary in on this recess. I need some advice.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
So I was at the baseball field till almost 9:30 at night on a school night.
Yeah.
This is for your 4-year-old team?
Yeah, you had the meeting, right?
We had
Oh.
a league meeting, league-wide meeting. The season starts like in 2 weeks. There were no coaches for the T-ball, for softball T-ball. They don't call them managers, apparently. I just learned that. They're called head coaches in softball. I never played softball, so I didn't know that. And so I really like being the assistant coach. That was like the advice that I was given from like other dads that have been down this route, because you don't have any responsibilities. You just have to show up to practice and games and help out. And that was great. And I did that, and it was awesome. But then they sent an email out saying that there were no coaches for the season. The season was about to start. So my wife was like, you got to do it. I was like, yeah, I got to do it. So then I did it. But I got to tell you, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm going to create a new email address. I think it's like going to be like coachjc@gmail or something like that. Like I need like this is like and then I got twins that are 2. So like that's coming. So I'm going to be like, it seems like a lot of work. I don't know if I can handle this amount of responsibility. Any advice, Mary?
I'm super impressed. It always is, the last one to step up. There's for coaching, they're always scrambling for coaches. So kudos to you for stepping up. And now that you're coaching your daughter's team, you're going to have to coach your son's teams as well, because that precedent has been set.
I know, but being like the managers, you have so much more work. Just being able to show up and help out, like that's what I was trying to do. Man,
luckily, this is 4-year-olds.
No, I know.
We're not training for the majors.
I mean, but like for me, like I had to step up, because if this was like hockey, then I'm like, I don't know anything about hockey. I can't even ice skate, so I got nothing. But like, I literally played baseball my entire life. So if there's anywhere where I can add value, like I'm not good at it. I'm terrible at pretty much everything in life, except for like wine, baseball, and charts is all I got. So this is one of those three things. So like I need,
just make it fun. Make the practices more game-like in the
got me
sense
going to
of
start
like.
a YouTube channel because to look for drills and stuff like that. Like this is
No,
wild.
but that's what I'm saying. Make the drills fun. Make them like games. Not
That was my advice. I saw, and my dad was volunteered as well, JC. But yeah, the games are the best part of practice. Yeah, it's all about the games.
My dad too. My dad did it right. He was like the third base coach. He was like the assistant coach.
Yeah. All right, I'm very, very curious to hear stories and shenanigans of Coach JC at gmail.com. Email it and
these girls
you shouldn't have shared that with our
They're going to be running laps all day. Let's go. Keep running. And when you think you're done, you're just getting started, ladies. Let's go.
I'm getting on the email list for Coach JC at gmail.com. All right, Mary, what do you got here? What is this?
All right, so I brought a picture along of my new little hobby. So you guys know that I love my flowers. This is the first time that I am trying to start some of them from seeds. And so I've got little babies. Look at my little babies here. These are snapdragons. I'm trying to grow some of my own annuals. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm going on spring break next week. I'm going to be down in the Keys. So hopefully these don't die. Oh my God. I've got some ranunculus going too. And then of course I've got all the flowers that are outside. So I'm excited for spring. Obviously winter is long here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Are you smoking any of this stuff you're growing or just eating them?
I'm not eating any of it. And I'm just growing it for my own enjoyment because,
he said annuals, JC, annuals. The point is that they stay for the year round, right?
Which part of I'm terrible at most things, except for baseball, charts, and wine.
Even I know about annuals, man. Come on.
As opposed to perennials?
No, perennials come back year after year. Annuals you have to buy each year. So snapdragons are annuals because they will die at the end of the season.
So the perennials, you get volunteers.
They're the assistant coach, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what kind of connections we're trying to make anymore.
All right.
Cool.
So yes, these are my babies.
We wish you luck. Shout out to Tesla this morning. All things considered, pretty muted. They had probably expected that they would have weak deliveries for the first quarter. They were weak.
Tesla.
This is Tesla. The delivery.
The fact that people actually care about Tesla earnings to me is
no. This is not. It's not earnings. It's deliveries. But you're right.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's down 2%, which might as well be zero. So, yeah, quiet day.
You think anybody owns this stock for their deliveries? Like, you think anybody like?
Yeah, I mean, look, we know it's not valued on the cars; it's valued on the full self-drive and all that jazz. So we'll see, but that's kind of the big headline of the morning, at least. My recess is just shout out, rest in peace to a guy that I grew up watching in several of my favorite movies, actually. And now that I think about it, but Val Kilmer, if you haven't seen it, there's a great documentary that he did about himself on Amazon. I don't know, 3-4 years ago. He made it. It was like an autobiographical thing, all about his life and career, and it's very, very, very good. Highly recommend it. So rest in peace to Val Kilmer. Great actor, great movies, great filmography. Sad to hear that.
Bummer.
Yeah.
I've got one other thing I'm watching. I kind of forgot to mention it. So we'll just do this real quick. HUT. So Bitcoin miner was up crazy. Well, not crazy, but it was up big enough yesterday that it caught my attention. So that's another one short term watching to see what the reaction is today. I know Strazza is interested in Bitcoin here at this level as well. Just being able to hold, I think, a VWAP right now. So that's the other thing that's on my mind. Forgot to mention it. So
Strazza just wants to know what Strazza and JC just want to know what Bitcoin miner is going off the board first, and it's not going to be HUT. It's too big. It's going to be like the smaller ones. Like
I don't care that much. I'm not thinking about it.
All right, fine, whatever.
I don't know.
All right.
I thought maybe it was front running a move yesterday. We'll see.
What do we got today? It's Wednesday. Hot Corner Insider members, you'll get your video with Alfonso at 1:00. Be there for that, and that's it. So thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Steve Place will be on the show tomorrow. We'll talk options with Steve. And thanks for hanging out, Mary and Kenny and Brian and Chat. As always, we appreciate you. I dropped a few links on the chat throughout the course of the show. A link to Steve's post from yesterday. If you don't get the Strazza letter, if you don't get any of the free emails, there's a whole bunch of links in the description on YouTube. Sign up. They're free and they're daily. And they're quick. That's kind of the whole point. So that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Go make some money. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye, guys.
YOLO responsibly.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.